To open today's class is Ms. Giselle Rushford, our National Trustee.
Okay, thank you, Carissa. Good morning, everyone from Colorado. My name is Giselle Rushford, and I'm one of the trustees of NaFFAA and also the proud mom of today's community tutor. On behalf of our national chairman and president, Brendan Flores, the executive board, and the board of governors of NaFFAA, we're pleased to welcome you to the 11th session of our Entrepreneurial and Economic Empowerment Online Workshop Series, or E3. The goal of this workshop is to instill digital skills in the Filipino American community. We created this program to provide gateways for individuals and families to thrive in digital trade and more enabled entrepreneurs. This webinar will be recorded and shared with attendees and live on Facebook. During the workshop, please free to ask your questions by typing them on the chat box. Carissa will be asking them at the end of the webinar. We're grateful to partner with Comcast and NBC Universal to give you these workshops, and thank you also to AARP, FPACC or FPAC, JCI New Jersey, and ISFFA for being our community partners. Last July 11th and 18th, our community tutor, Miles Bonanno, showed us an overview how entrepreneurs can benefit from Facebook ads. We learned how the Facebook algorithm works and what steps we need to take before we launch an ad campaign, and what we can do to gather leads and generate sales. Today, my daughter, Jennifer Samuel, will show us how to successfully use Zoom for business. She has 15 years experience in integrated marketing, especially digital marketing, 8 years in progressive roles in strategic planning, relationship building, and project management and operations. She's worked with Fortune 500 companies and small businesses. Through her consulting business, she provides workshops creating digital marketing plans and consultation for startups. She has worked in various industries: hospitality, retail, IT, auto, telecommunication, and fitness, health, beauty, such as Nordstrom, McDonald's, Capital Grill, Estee Lauder, Breast Cancer Research Foundation, and Dior. She enjoys working with Asian and Filipino communities, mentoring youth programs, along with directing cultural and contemporary dance. Thank you for everyone for joining us today. Take it away, Jennifer. Did we lose Jennifer? Jennifer, you
but she's on mute. I am here. I am here. Good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to start off with just this little clip here. Hold on a second. There we go. Welcome, you guys. I think we've been all too familiar in the beginning of this, of how Zoom is or was currently. I believe that some of you now are a little bit of a Zoom pro. However, that's probably what you will still see going on through this, this space. Welcome to Zoom for Coaching. My name is Jennifer Samuel, and I am your host for today. I am the owner of JS Consulting, a marketing consulting firm, and owner of Bodies by Perseverance, a personal training gym in Denver. Quick background, I have 15 years of experience in integrated marketing, digital marketing, 8 years in progressive roles in strategic planning, relationship building, project management, and operations. I've worked with Fortune 500 companies and small businesses. Through my consulting business, I provide workshops, creating digital marketing plans, and provide consultation for startups. 3 S's. Simple, set the stage, and stay upbeat. Keep your presentation simple that you and or your tech team can follow. Set the stage for your background, lighting, and attire, and stay upbeat. Make sure your posture, voice, and facial expressions are kept on high. These are the 3 rules that I like to in place when I think about what I would like to do as a host, if I'm presenting my brand, if I am making a sales pitch. In any type of meetings, you want to keep it simple, set the stage, and stay upbeat. So now what I'd like to kickstart is I'd like to do a virtual poll. If you have 1 or 2 devices at hand, this is pretty cool. So if you are watching from your laptop, if you can type the URL on your phone, I will give you a minute to do this. Or if you just have 1 device and you're on your laptop, go ahead and type in this URL onto a browser, and then go ahead and start the survey. And this is a pretty cool thing to do, and just another tool that we can utilize. And I will give a couple minutes if you guys can go ahead and type that in and start answering this survey.
It's tinyurl/NaFFAA Zoom, right?
Correct.
You want to flash back? Are you able to flash back with the other?
Yes. So if you want to go ahead and type that in first, and then I'll go ahead and go back to that poll. So if you're on your phone or if you're on another device, and then go ahead and start answering the questions. So responses, how many of you use Zoom in meetings? 100%. And I will stay here until, I guess there's no. Okay, what level are you with Zoom? Now this is pretty cool. We're seeing people come in with beginner, intermediate, advanced enough to get by. Oh, pretty intermediate. So I see that we are pretty proficient in it. And then how many times do you Zoom? Zoom is now a verb, right? 1 to 3 times, 3 to 5 times a week, 5 to 7 times a week, enough for your head to hurt. So we can see that we are at least using it about 3 times a week. And then next is almost 5 to 7 times a week. Very cool. And I will just stay 1 more second on here. Perfect. So that poll was just a cool way to see many features that you can do to really be interactive in your Zoom meetings. Now, the first thing you want to ask yourself when you become a host, or if you're wanting to build your brand, what's the very first thing you want? What's the first thing you want to accomplish? Is it you are trying to do presentations? If you're trying to promote events, Zoom has plans and pricing matrix for each of your things. So if you're just conducting meetings, you can get the basic, pro, business, and enterprise. I have the business, which is the small, medium business size, because for example, my gym, I have 3 trainers. So I have to pay the $19.99 per month per host. and it includes up to 300 participants, and then as well as then the features come in, such as the cloud recordings, the webinars, and other features as well. Find out what your goal is in your business and try to go ahead and map it out. If at any time you're finding that you need to upgrade, one thing that's cool about Zoom is that you can upgrade at any time. So meeting versus webinar. Meeting and webinar platforms offer similar features and functionality, but have some key differences. So meetings are designed to be collaborative events with all participants being able to screen share, turn on their video and audio, and see who else is in attendance. Webinars are designed so that the host and any designated panelists can share their video, audio, and screen. Webinars allow view-only attendees. So if you do have special guests, anybody that is featuring to speak, this is a great way to allow only a view-only option. They have the ability to also interact with Q&A, chat, and answer polling questions. And polling questions we'll touch on a little bit later in this presentation. And then the host is also able to unmute certain attendees as well into the webinars. And Zoom has this amazing manual that you can go into and tutorial if you want to conduct a webinar event, a fundraising event. And I will show you that later, how Region 5 conducted our Philippine Independence Day event through webinar. So let's begin. You'll see that when you open your Zoom account or you download the app, you will see this main screen, and you could do the most basic features at the tip of your fingers. I would highly recommend using a desktop or laptop if you're hosting, so you can see all the functionalities. If you use your phone to attend meetings, that is completely up to you. However, if you're hosting and all you're doing is speaking, then a phone is just fine. But using a laptop, you can see all the other features that you can do as well. And as you can see, you can join a meeting, schedule a meeting, screen share, and attend a meeting. One thing about the screen share when you're on the mobile app is it's a little difficult. If you know how to navigate your phone, if you know where your files are, your Google Drive, then definitely that screen share option you can utilize on your phone. Now, settings. This is kind of the rock of everything, where when you get into your account, really peruse the settings and see what you want to accomplish for each meeting and or webinar. So it's imperative if you want certain features enabled and that are automatic. For example, in our gym, we wanted to record and do some marketing. So as trainers, we recorded a video of us, and one of the trainers forgot to press record. So we actually had to go back and re-record everything. So there is a feature in the recording settings in the tab that when you go in, you can actually have it automatic recorded. Now you can also have a feature where it could delete after a specific number of days, because in the automatic recording, you can also have the option to have it saved on your computer or in the cloud of Zoom. Just know that it does cost per recording on Zoom, depending on what package you have. So if your length is 5 hours long on a workshop, just remember that you're also paying for that bit to be held under the cloud. Then in the settings, you also want to get to know the audio and the video part of it. Right now, I'm using my AirPods, and pretty standard. A lot of people are using their headphones. I actually utilize a kind of, it looks like a gaming headphone that I use for my gym, for our trainers, that then they can hear clearly without and canceling the background noise. So that helps when you're trying to speak, to engage. Also, with that specific mic, I also have an app that they can hear music, so then they can hear the music plus the instructor both at the same time, and the specific music that we are playing. One thing about the audio is I always recommend to keep the always mute microphone when joining a meeting. There's nothing worse than getting caught on not having yourself on mute, joining a meeting and using the restroom. That is my biggest fear. So I like to enable that button, always mute microphone when joining a meeting. And then with the video as well, you can always have it set to have it stop video and have a branded image of you on there as well. So set yourself up for success. So aforementioned about utilizing your settings, make sure that you test all the features that Zoom provides and practice on another device or with someone. Importantly, open specific screens behind the scenes so it is quicker to get to if you share your screens. For example, just now when I was sharing the YouTube video, I have that open, ready to go.
I don't eat carbs.
Oh. If you could put yourself on mute, that'd be great. Thank you. If you have a tech person or a tech team, it would be great. Then that way you don't have to worry about pulling up another screen. They can prompt accordingly to the presentation. But if you are doing the presentation yourself, make sure that you have all the windows up and make sure you have what you want your audience to see, because they can see everything at some point if you have your browser up. So if you have audio in your share screen, in the bottom left corner here, you will see that there are different tiles of what windows and what capabilities you have that you can share. Make sure you have the share computer sound option clicked, because if I did not have that clicked earlier, you wouldn't have been able to hear the video off the YouTube. So, and how to prevent that too, or if somebody said, hey, wait, I didn't hear any of that, you can go back to that share screen option, and then it will pull up that box, this same box again, and then you could click it again and then press share. Now you're all good to go. So don't worry about fumbling through. If something happens, there's an easy workaround with your menu bar. Next, your virtual background. Virtual background is pretty important. As you can see, my hand disappears back here. This is my virtual background. Depending on your device, and you can test that through your phone or through your laptop, depending on your device and how either ancient or new it is, you can see what type of background you can have. If you have the virtual background option, you'll notice if you try it right now, you'll see yourself here looking like I'm in, I don't know, Malibu or something. However, if your device is older, then you wouldn't be able to see, I would look very alien-like if my device wasn't updated. So you can also add an image, you can have a video as well. If your device is older and you want a background so bad, you can have a green screen, like literally a green screen behind you, and put a virtual background, and that will help blanket everything else. And if you guys are on the screen right now, if you see between, she has a great logo backdrop, and that's a great way of utilizing your brand. And when I'm teaching or coaching from my gym, I actually have a white background with our logo in the back, or you can do popcorn icons too as well. And that will help bring out your brand a little bit more. So we're going to start off with this actual screen itself. When you look to the top left on the meeting info, you see a circle with an I in the middle. And what that is your meeting information. And on the mobile device, I believe it's in the bottom corner, but you can always look at what the meeting ID is, the host, password. You can even copy the link and copy it and then type it into or paste it into a messenger. Or, you know, if somebody is trying to text you, says, I can't get in, and you're you're in the meeting currently, you can look at the meeting ID and you can, text it to them, you can email it to them as well. Now moving over across from left to right, over to the right, you'll see 11 seconds. And what that is a timer, and that helps for presenters. For me, it helps with the gym to know how much time I have, or even looking at time in general to see how much is left. And you can do this in the settings. If you set up in your settings tool under advanced, it will say timer option, and you can definitely utilize that. And you can't increase the size, unfortunately, but it's there for what you need. And then moving down to the lower left is select a microphone. Right now I'm using my AirPods. I utilize a headset when I'm teaching my fitness, and I use a different type of microphone, and then test the microphone and also do the audio settings as well. These features, play around with it. If you have 3 different mics, play around with it, test the microphones, and there's a great way to do that through the audio settings as well. So in the beginning of your presentation, provide etiquette or housekeeping rules before or at the way beginning of the presentation. Just make it clear, because not everyone is on the same level of Zoom. Provide patience and instructions, and do so in a calm manner. And when prompting someone to do something or say something, give people a few seconds to respond, because there is a 2-second lag on Zoom. So depending on the internet speed or even the amount of people on a video call. So for example, if everybody had their videos on right now, it would slow down a little bit of the speed and the lag time a little bit. So imagine if we had 300 people on this call, it would slow down just a little bit as well. And it may be a little blotchy. You may even think it might be the internet, but sometimes it's the actual video. Also, I recommend asking people to rename their boxes with their full name, first name and last initial, or you can do something fun like place your name with a dash and the city you grew up in. So right now, I would like you to try this. If you can go to the 3 menu buttons on the top right corner of your screen, or I believe it's in the bottom of your right if you're using a mobile device, rename yourself, put your first name and initial dash what city you grew up in. And it's a fun way to kind of look at, if you're in a gallery view, if you want to look at people to say, oh, wow, I didn't know this person was from Manila or Quezon City, or am I the only one from San Francisco? So it's a fun way just to get engaged. I actually took this from my tween, my 12-year-old, that in class they did some fun things where they said, if you are a character, rename your character, but put your first name dash and then rename your character. So it's a fun way to get everybody involved and interactive. So views and chats. There are 3 video layouts when no one in the meeting is screen sharing. So you have your active speaker, obviously, gallery view, and the floating thumbnail window. If you take the floating thumbnail window, you take it to the top and you move it over, let's say by your video, you can almost look like you are really engaged when you're really Amazon shopping or not paying attention to the speaker. The floating window bar is a great option just to move it around if you need to get some work done as well. You can also do side-by-side mode, and where the active speaker, and you can see the speaker plus the presentation. And then any type of layouts, you can also pin a participant's view. So if somebody, for example, like one of my trainers our training and I want to pin his video because whenever someone is actively talking, the screen will go automatically to that speaker and you'll see it highlighted in green. But if you want to just pin that certain person, then you can go ahead and do that as well. And again, Zoom covers all of each and every view if you need to look at that some more. And with chat, just know when you're chatting and you chat to everyone, you say, hey everyone, happy Saturday. Now, if you private chat to someone, you can private chat to just a specific person, say, hey, did you get that report? Just know the host of this meeting can enable settings where they can save all notes, including your private chats. So just know if you're talking about your boss, make sure it utilize a WhatsApp or a text rather than the chat in the feature of Zoom, because it could be recorded. So virtual background versus your own background. Virtual background can set the tone, especially if you are the host. There are options of finding a simple background like in your home and playing with the actual virtual background option. And this can be available also depending on your device, like I mentioned. Keep it crisp and even with a branded image that is not too distracting. And then make sure you don't blend in with your image too. So I like to always use like a pop of color, just so then I stand out from my virtual background as well. You don't want to use a blue background and then all I'm wearing is blue as well. So setting the stage. Setting the stage with My Fitness Gym, we ask our trainers to have equipment on hand and a simple background. So as you can see in these two images, there are two instructors that have different environments. Which do you feel is more appealing to attend? While we all understand we may not have the luxury of space in our homes, but moving some furniture around and good lighting can really set the stage. So for example, the gal on the left, she just has her white and black wall. It's all you see is her. Now you don't get distracted. Versus the other instructor, she has everything else behind her. She could have moved everything out of place, like meaning move the chair out of the way, put things off her desk and set it aside, because we understand we're limited. However, everything else can be distracting during somebody's presentation. Also, make sure that your internet connection's pretty great, that either you want to direct connect. That happened to us during the virtual event. The internet connection was choppy, and luckily we had a tech team involved that helped put that back up. Make sure that you have that backup plan as well. Also, what I like to do is I like to sign on through my phone or another device onto my meeting. So then if I get lost or something happens or my battery dies, I always have that plan B. Next, you want your microphone. Test out your microphone. Make sure that you're canceling out any background noise, talking, dogs, cats, kids. I understand that it will happen. However, have a microphone, an AirPod, a headset that can also help you keep your audience engaged. And you want to test that too. In the settings of the audio, there's also a noise cancellation, including the keystrokes. So if I'm hosting right now and I'm starting to type, if I didn't have that enabled, then you'll be able to hear me type an email to someone. So make sure that that's enabled. Also, devices, depending on your device, check your device, make sure that Zoom works on that device. And also the height of device. Make sure it's about eye level or higher, because there's nothing worse than looking up someone's nose or under the neck. Your lighting should always be shining on your face. Natural light is great. Lighting behind you, all you'll see is a shadow. And then including the sides of your face too. We do have shadows, so if you can, try to have natural lighting on the side as well. Attire, again, is imperative. I like less patterns. I like bold colors, just so that you pop and you, again, stay upbeat, like what we're discussing now. So what's on the menu? So now we're going to go through the menu bar that you see on Zoom. So the bottom menu bar, you'll see that you have security and participants. So when starting with security, security provides that added layer of protection. This all happened, of course, with the Zoom hacking. You can also provide other security like taking out the chat options for certain people, taking out certain options for, you know, others or everyone. So it just adds that blanket of security just so that you enable some other features. And you just want to protect your meeting. And as well as participants, you can also provide them with an audio off, video on. With participants, you can send them to break rooms. Everything that you want to know about your participant, you can utilize that box. And right here, you'll see on the right side, it says stop video, pin the video, request camera control, allow recording. You can make them a co-host, move them or remove them, and then some other things as well. Then again, on the menu, you have polling, share screen, chat, record, breakout room, reactions, and more. So earlier we did a polling, but I did a virtual polling, which was more something to get engaged so that you guys can see something live. The polling option is something that you need to set up. So in this top right corner box, you need to set up before the meeting, press add, and you can add polls. So onto the left, it says, what's your favorite food? I have multiple choices, pancit, pizza, lumpia, pasta, or all of the above, right? You can put as many polls on there based on your presentation. Once you put that poll feature onto your Zoom, then you can pull this poll up and then do some live polling as well. Get some great surveys, as well as record. So now, again, touching on record, make sure that you are recording and have it automatically recording, or you can do it manually by just going through the options of your menu bar as well. So chat feature we covered. Breakout rooms. So breakout rooms, if everybody's pretty familiar with that, we've done breakout rooms where if you need to facilitate, if you want to talk about a topic, we can send everybody and teleport them to breakout rooms. And that's something that you can do in your options as well. And really quick, I will send everyone to a breakout room, I believe.
Yes, either you or between whoever is host. Jen.
Oh, yes, between needs to, I believe. If not, we can just do the breakout rooms later. Oh, there we go. She's got it. So if you see on your screen over mobile device, join breakout room, you can join it. If you want to leave.
Just let me know when I pull them up.
Okay,
When I
go ahead
close
and,
all rooms, right?
I'm sorry?
They'll be brought, when I close all rooms, they'll be brought back in, right?
Yes, go ahead and close it.
Okay.
So welcome everyone. You guys just got teleported back. As you guys are coming in between, thank you so much for bringing everyone back. Everybody's slowly coming back. So we've kind of experienced breakout rooms. And we've probably done it more so often in meetings, in a lot of our webinars and stuff. Not so much webinars, but in our meetings. So going back to reactions and more. So I'm going to actually turn to the next slide so that you can see the bottom left corner here. You will see that this is a full menu bar. There is a reaction. So if you want to do a reaction where you do a thumbs up, a clap, something just to say, hey, that was a great topic. You know, that's a great way to do that pretty fast and pretty quick without without being vocal about it. Next, go live on platforms. So if you press the more button, which is the 3 little icons, you will see that there's a live on Facebook, live on Workplace by Facebook, YouTube, and custom living stream service. So the custom live streaming service is from someone's business. You can integrate different type of platforms that you can push out live. So let's say that custom live streaming service was from their company. They had an IT department that has this cool way from their website to really push out their Zoom webinar out. So that's something a little bit more advanced and techie. The live on Facebook is a free option. If you have a Facebook business page, you can go and put this live on Facebook. I highly recommend a tech person designated for Facebook Live, just because in case something happens with connectivity, with anything that you want with the live stream. For example, during our Philippine Independence Day, I had a tech person designated to the Facebook, and it went down. And she knew it while others, we were still talking and conversing and still going. She knew it happened. She said, okay, everyone, pause really quick. We're going to back up. And so we got it back, and it was because due to internet, which happens, we got it back up live on Facebook. Now, just know when you go back live on Facebook, when you go back to that Facebook page, it will show it twice. So you'll see that one post that had the original one, then it will show another one, which is fine. I mean, it happens, and we were able to capture the rest of our events. So virtual classes. So meetings, when we have our virtual classes for our gym, meetings are personable, interactive. You can have live questions, view people in different layout options. And for me, I conduct virtual trainings during the pandemic and classes, and we just did a fun way. I utilize meetings so I can look at people, you know, call them out, if you will. We did Zoom cooking classes with girlfriends. Our instructor conducted our Zoom classes as well, and we filled in on it, and it was really cool to stay upbeat during these times. Now with webinars, make sure that you do have a tech team. Webinars, again, is a view-only attendee option, and it's great for town hall meetings and when you want to feature or highlight certain people and not have a gallery view. So I will show you how this is all set up. During our NaFFAA Region 5 Philippine Independence virtual celebration, as you can see at the bottom picture, I had a tech person. We probably had like 5 computers on the table, and she had Facebook on one. She had her phone to comment, just to look at it at mobile. I had 2 laptops as well, just for backup in case one went down. Plus I had my phone. So we had a tech team in a way, and we actually had another person as well, where she pulled some of the YouTube or other videos that I couldn't pull while I was speaking. So there's definitely a way to accomplish this without spending a whole lot of money on a tech company that does that for Zoom, and which I priced out. I think it was starting at $3,000, because you have a speaker, you have the tech, you know, which is nice, but we just don't have that funds. So here is a little video. So that was our tech team, our marketing team. I was a host, I had a co-host, and then I had MCs to help run. And then as you can see, I also have a picture of myself with the boxing gloves because I had another device up just in case something were to happen. Now I'm gonna take you over to our Facebook Live page where we did the Facebook Live on our NaFFAA page. And as you can see, we did a little TikTok video, and then we had our MC.
I think the volume is low. We can't hear it.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Oh, sorry. Still no sound.
No sound? Oh, oops. There we go. That's why it's the share computer sound again. I forgot because you took over as host. So there you go again. When you when you relinquish your host capabilities, you got to remember that when you share a screen, you have to always press that audio button. So apologize for that. I will back up and then show just a little bit of the video. We had our MCs.
Good afternoon, everyone. Happy 122nd Philippine Independence Day. My name is Tristan Moraz. I was born in Rizal, Philippines, raised by 3 beautiful queens, my mom, my aunt, and my lola. I moved to Colorado at age 10.
Aw, and then we had the amazing Brendan Flores do a video. So with our webinar, we fused all the videos together and had the MCs be live. So then that way there was no hitch. The only hitch, of course, was the internet. But other than that, we had the MCs live and we had everybody submit types of videos. We had a group that was happy to perform together because they performed together. And then we had a Bandango sa Ilaw outside where they did their social distancing outside and did perform. And we had some other families that did it within their Filipino organizations as well, like the Tinikling and the Itikitik. And as you can see, you see our MC in the right corner. So with this webinar, we were able to conduct an event that brought, you know, the spirits back up. We even partnered with a food truck that provided the Filipino food the day of the event, and then they donated proceeds to our Independence Day, and we actually sent that to Gawa Kalinga. So it was a great event that we're very proud of, especially virtually, and having a great team is great. So one of the things that I'd like to touch on, this might be a little advanced, but I know some of you are at this point right now, is called integrations. So integrations are when systems can be incorporated to one another. So to give a little bit of background on apps or companies that integrate with your systems, I'm going to go over what APIs are. API stands for Application Programming Interface. So at some point, most large companies have built APIs for their customers and or for internal use. So if you worked for a business, for example, our business, we sign up clients for appointments. You want to give the client the ability to automatically create like a Google Calendar event with details of the appointment. So then the API has that website server talking to your company server and says, okay, this is what we need to respond back. So those servers talk to each other. Now, I'm going to go a little bit more in detail with our business and then how you can maximize and monetize. So Zoom has all these apps in the marketplace. And if you haven't seen these icons already, don't worry and don't freak out. There's a lot. So just use what works for you. For our gym, we have a scheduling system, or CRM. So customer relationship management system or retention management, whatever company you work with. And we have a sign up for classes. So as you can see here, there's a Zoom boxing boot camp right here. So when I click on that and sign up for the class, then I have an email that responds back to me, which is the integration called FitGrid. So this boxing training session in this upper corner here speaks to my CRM and sends them a link for Zoom. So then I don't have to do anything in the background. Beforehand, before all this, when the pandemic first started, with the scheduling system, I would have to see who was on my roster, email everyone a link to Zoom. And of course, this is before all the security issues have happened. Then make sure everybody got in with that specific password. That was daunting and tedious. So then a company came in called FitGrid and spoke to our CRM system and said, hey, this person is attending class and this specific class uses Zoom. So we're gonna send them a link, and they actually send a link, a unique URL link. So then we don't have those security issues with a different password, and I don't have to worry about that. So that runs in the background, and it also sends them a customer reminder about the class, and then it does a follow-up. So this is where you can monetize and maximize. So when companies come and say, we can monetize and maximize via Zoom, it just means that there's another company out there that can help you save time and resources and money and probably sanity that can help you with reporting. So with this, I can see who's come to class, and it will also send them like, hey, we've missed you. Where have you been? Why don't you sign up for an online class? And I don't have to do that. So it will keep track of that person's class and then send them an email, an automatic email to say, we've missed you. Why don't you try this class? Maybe offer 50% off. And this is where you kind of get a little bit creative. So you're capturing every client. So one thing about Zoom is don't get frustrated. Keep it simple and smile. While I know there's so much more to learn about Zoom, there's a wealth of information and Zoom's tutorial that are great to conduct meetings and events. I would highly recommend watching other online events, speak to other coordinators, and ask questions on how they did it. For Region 5's events, I interviewed and researched high-end organizations to local organizations that conducted all these virtual events. And honestly, the answer is to have a great tech team in place. Practice, test, practice, and test some more. And because as we live in this ever-changing world, our technology will change as well. So even grabbing a millennial and having them help out in this virtual space, they will know so much more, and they can help out more than you know. And again, keep things fun. As you can see in this window with dogs, keep it fun. Maybe do a little giveaway or something saying, hey, the best dog outfit, put it on to your video screen or something, or dress up make it fun, interactive, so keep people's spirits alive. And that was the whole premise of why we wanted to do the NaFFAA virtual celebration, because of course we couldn't have our celebration in person where we do have food, we do have a festival, but we still wanted to bring that to your own home, and people had watch parties. And then also we understand that if you need to step back, go to another place, go on your patio, have a cup of coffee, put on the headset, have your meetings, keep it simple and smile, set the stage, and stay upbeat. And if you have any other questions or any questions now, I would love to hear any questions you may have. So in this new space, you can have fun and interactive. Just keep it fun.
Thank
Hi,
you
thank
so
you.
much.
Yeah.
Could be,
First
could be.
question from Carissa.
Oh.
Are you gonna ask it?
Jennifer, how do we set up an auto reminder message to people who register through a Zoom link?
Great question. So I'm gonna go through my Zoom account. Don't look at my password. I'm just kidding. See, I have like 2 accounts. So how, like for example, a webinar, and I was actually going to go through this, so this is a great question. So I'm going to schedule a webinar. So as you can see, first on the left-hand side, you have your different webinars, recordings, and settings. Play around with that intensely. Again, you can, your topic, when, duration, is recurring. Here's your required registration. So you click on required, you give them the webinar passcode. Now, again, if you want their videos on, you can have them on or off. I had ours off, and audio as well. And then webinar options as well. You can actually, if you're a host, you can enable this at any point. However, if you just want to not deal with it, then, and you know what you want, then just go ahead and do that. So now I'm just going to, let me put, okay, there's a schedule. So I'm going to schedule this. Okay, once I schedule this, you can see all the options to put on your calendar. It will show the ID. It will show that I didn't want these other options. If you do want a practice session, you can. You could really just go into the meeting ahead of time, really, and just practice there. But here at the bottom, this is where the nuts and bolts are. Invitations. So if I want to invite panelists, this is where I invited the people such as my MCs and my co-hosts and my tech team. I put them all under here. And then it will show exactly the panelists involved. And then you'll see the number, size of attendees. There's 100 here. Just because this is not, I changed my pricing when the event ended. And then my email settings. So this is where you can look at what they send out, or you can send out on your own. So here's language, contact, invitation, email to panelists if I want something specific, or even email to registrants. So here it is. I'll give it a second so then you can see what you can put as a subject, your body. So then you don't have to think about it. Once people start to register, they'll get this email. And I believe you can even brand it too, where you can have your logo also. And then here's a follow-up email for your attendees. So in case you don't want to think about it again and you're like, oh gosh, we need to do another push, then you could do a follow-up email and then send a follow-up email or reminder. Sorry, let me go back to reminder. So reminder where you can set it, you can do an hour, day, week before. Now, if you have an integration, so a system like I showed you with that fit grid, it will actually remind the client 1 hour before, and then it will remind them like 6 hours prior before they can even cancel the class or also still get charged. And then I can even set it where it reminds them again. So like 3 reminders if you want. So it's kind of up to you how you want to build that. Also, here's the branding. So you can upload a banner, the logo. You can have the 3 speakers. So I added my speakers here also as well. You can do different fun things like the header, the theme. You can also do like a post attendee URL, meaning like if you want to provide them with some added information, and then surveys, and then the social media share, that's already automatic. You can share that live at your fingertips. Polls, again, this is where I showed you guys about adding a poll, and we said, what is your favorite food? Okay, and or you can say, you know, during the I coach or I train some of the MBA wives, and they say on Zoom, they ask their audience, who's your favorite player, or who's going to score this many, you know? So those are things like to have fun with and to get people engaged. That. Okay, so now I have what's your favorite food. So during the presentation, I can go to that poll. It will show the poll feature if you have a poll involved, and then it will pull it up and say, which poll did you want, the food or do you want your favorite player? Next is Q&A, if you want people to do Q&A, and then integration. So remember the app store, you can go to zoom.com/app or marketplace, but you can see all the integration that it does. And then live streaming, it automatically, again, you have the choice to do it on those 3 platforms.
Great, thanks. The last question is, how can we integrate fundraising activities into our Zoom events?
So one thing that I saw, we wanted to do, well, aside from having a tech person be on Facebook and doing fundraising and kind of just being that hype person, if you will, I've seen where people do silent auctions where they have the presenter and they actually have a dedicated silent auction person, and somebody, you know, in that Facebook chat. So if we go to that Facebook watch, hold on a second. Where? Oh, sorry. Nope, it's on. Okay, so with this, the NaFFAA Facebook, on the sidebar, there's a way that you can comment, you can react, and let's say somebody says, I want to purchase, if you do a silent auction, I think those are great events or great things that you can do. And at first I was thinking to myself, how do you do a silent auction during the pandemic? But a lot of it was like virtual. It was like resort stays. It was gift cards. It was wine. And, you know, some things that you'll probably have to travel if it's local, or if you're willing to partner with somebody and they can send it, that's a great way of doing it. Us was just monetary. So we just kept saying, hey, here's our PayPal. Here's our link. Don't forget to send it off. So we had the host, and I mean, the MCs keep saying, if you guys love this, you know, please, thank you, and please go to this link, and it's over to the right, and the person that's fielding those comments can also pin it to the top too as well.
Okay, great. Thank you, Jennifer. That was amazing. I know we have other questions as well. I'll save it for next time. And where can we contact you?
Sure, you can contact me, and I think it's on one of the first slides that we had.
Yes. You want to type it in chat?
Sure, I can type it on chat. And if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer at any point. Yep, and I'll put my email on here.
Thank you.
Yes, so Jennifer at JS Consulting, and then actually there's a little typo on the, it's mybbp.com. Don't worry about it. People get that. So I know it looks BBP, Bodies by Perseverance. So, but everything else is correct. But yeah, if you have any questions, I'd love to share. This is the whole this is the whole idea of sharing knowledge, right? And we become better by sharing knowledge. So I want to invite you guys to just ask me away. I've learned from failing and mistakes. So that's definitely one of the things that we learned from the virtual event. So.
All right, great. And thank you, Jennifer. You're our final coach for this series. And we've enjoyed having everybody here every Saturday, almost every Saturday. And we're ending this series to give space and time for our following programs, which is to encourage everybody to coming elections November 3rd, and we need people to register, to get their mail-in ballots, and to go to the polls. So please come out. Thank you. And of course, the census, you need to be counted. Please don't forget, we have 70 days left, and 70 or less than 60 rather. And we need to
55 days.
55 days. So please tell your family and friends. Actually, yesterday I was with some Filipino friends and they didn't know that they are counted. So please tell everybody. Thank you. Yeah, if you need the recordings, please feel free to email me or feel free to donate to NaFFAA as well, so we can continue programs like this, brainstorm with us, and we look forward to having you at our next events. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Kidding daw. Kidding sila sa upcoming events. Kidding sila sa upcoming events on August 11 and August 13. I'm going to pass it to Between and Clarissa to flyer, hopefully to you. It's a historical event, but it's true of dance drama. It will be at La Mama. It's a review of the past, but we have very good scholars from the Maranao people. If you want to know more about us in Mindanao, these are unwritten history and unwritten legends, epics, and myths. And also in August 13, we have Brown Lives Matter, the Black Liberation. It's a lecture, very good lecture of Filipino American scholars. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Bye. Enjoy your
Bye.
Saturday.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Thank you so much. Thank you.